Yo, what is up, everybody? This is, of course, your boy Bernie here on The Charge, giving you the latest NBA news and rumors and also basketball opinions. And today, we're going more on the basketball opinion side as we have a new video today talking about the LeBron James Jr. or Bronny James Jr. throwdown that he had today. And SportsCenter kind of throws it down, but he threw it down, and they kind of have it here. And pictures are worth it, or videos are worth 1,000 words. So let's watch the dunk really quick. Again, taking him off the bounce, and boom, right on that guy's head top. Again, we'll go into the story a little bit more, but before we get started on talking about that stuff, please remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Again, all that stuff helps out the algorithm so much. And again, we want to grow this channel to be something special, something that you guys can enjoy as a basketball community. And I hope that we can get this channel to go even further and higher. Me and my boy Peter are cooking something up in the background while you guys are waiting for some stuff. We also have, of course, the Victor Wembanyama video that will be either up on Thursday with the preview out either tomorrow or the next day. So be on the lookout for that stuff moving forward. I'm excited. I think that this is going to be an exciting time to be a Charge subscriber. We're going to add so many new things to the channel as for the coming months. And my boy Pete is probably going to step up a little bit more so in the fact that you're going to maybe get some more content from him without my video presence, because I think that having his perspective as well is huge for the channel's growth and progression. So again, enough of me shilling about. Let's rewatch that dunk one more time. Actually, we'll watch it from right here because I think they're going to show a replay of it. I think everybody in France right now is going crazy, and that kind of just shows you LeBron James. Again, I know these are his sons, so I want to talk to them as individuals and not say, oh, this guy's LeBron James Jr.'s son and things like that. But the notoriety that LeBron James has around the world is undeniable, and you can clearly see that everybody in the stands was excited to see LeBron James Jr. or Bronny James Jr. dunk the basketball on the kid from the U18 French select team. And for reference to everybody, this game was taking place in Europe. It's a Europe basketball tour. This basketball team that Bronny James is currently playing on, I believe, is his high school team. Just under a California select team. It's a bunch of his guys. The head coach from Sierra Canyon is also the head coach for this team. So I think that this to me is, and I kind of want to know the rules more so from a coach's perspective, because here in Seattle, you're not allowed to coach once the off season starts. So I'm wondering what rules, maybe because it's a Catholic school, or it's a preparatory school and doesn't really follow the rules of a traditional high school or public funded high school. So maybe that's something there. But you guys aren't here for me to talk about that stuff. But that's just the background about LeBron James Jr. or Bronny. I keep calling him LeBron James. Bronny James. There we go. This is we're going to see from Bronny James. Just a lot more highlights. They play together with his brother. So I'm excited to see them on the court when they play in high school games. I think you're going to see some pretty cool stuff this season. And I think LeBron James is going to be super hyped and ecstatic to see both of his sons play on the same team for at least a year, because this is Bronny James's senior year, and we'll talk more about that actually in this video, talking about the recruiting stuff that's been going on. So let's get into that right now. And this is what the article goes on to say from Sports Illustrated. ESPN reported that Bronny James was being pursued by UCLA, USC, Michigan, Ohio State, and Oregon, among other elite college programs. However, only Ohio State, Oregon, and USC are actively recruiting him. And I know what people are thinking. We can go to the 24/7 Bronny James report. He's a 4-star, nationally ranked 43, 7th shooting guard in the nation, 12th shooting guard in California. Same thing here, 49th in the nation, 8th shooting guard, 12th in California. So I think there's a lot of people and a lot of haters out there that are talking about Bronny James as if he's going to be a bad player. I don't believe that for 1 second. I know Bronny James is 6'3". When you talk about his brother, being really tall, I think he's like 6'4", 6'5", maybe even 6'6", I think. So that's kind of a cool sight to see. I'll have to rewatch this game specifically. I actually watched their first game more so closely than I did the other ones. And so when I look at Bronny James as an athlete, when I look at him as a player, I look at someone with innate instincts for the passing. I think he's obviously a great gifted passer. I think, he learned that from LeBron James, obviously, with LeBron James having that great gift as well. And that's the reason why I think he'll be successful in not only just the high school setting for this last year and his senior year, but I think he'll be successful going into college. And why I think whether he goes to USC, whether he goes to Ohio State or Oregon, those schools are going to really use his innate ability to get better. Again, is he the primary ball handler? It looks like it's not so much. I'll have to watch more of the highlights again. Or maybe not more of the highlights. I want to watch more of the games, because what I love about these games is that they're on national television, so I can watch the whole thing and watch not only the highlights but the lowlights and the stuff in between. Because I think a lot of people get excited by the highlights and get discouraged by the lowlights when you have to look at the whole game as an entirety. And so what I'm excited to kind of maybe I'll do a draft profile series on Bronny James, and I think that might be the next evolution in all this, because I would love to talk to you guys about more about Bronny James as a player, because I think you can clearly see that there's some good stuff there. But nevertheless, let's go into more articles talking about this as the 5 colleges that could be interested in him. I think USC is probably the more logical choice. I think UCLA, I think they have a stacked recruiting class, if I'm not mistaken. I could take a look a little bit later. The Bruins are coming off a Final Four and Sweet 16 appearance in his first 2 seasons. And so, obviously, I think this roster has Amari Bailey on it. Curious to see if Amari Bailey will stay another year or if he'll go after. But I think that, we're going to see a little bit more from Amari Bailey coming this season and see what his options are. I think that would be a great option to have him there. USC is a decent option. The reason why I think USC would probably be the better option is because I think he has a more realistic chance to start for USC than he does UCLA. Because I think UCLA, you have Amari Bailey, you have so many great guards in that program. I think it's going to be hard to crack that roster for Bronny James. But if he decides to go to USC, I have no doubt in my mind that he'll start and be probably a featured player in that program. And so that's why I'm kind of looking more forward for him to go there than I would say UCLA, because I think USC probably gives him a better opportunity to start. The other options that he has, of course, is Ohio State and Michigan. Obviously, I think Michigan, with that Juwan Howard connection, I think that that's probably going to be something special. I could see him trying to actively recruit Bronny James. Ohio State, clearly, LeBron James is a huge fan of that program. I could definitely see them try to get him so they can use kind of the LeBron James appearances and things like that once LeBron James is retired from the league, and say, hey, if you join, Bronny can get all these, we can get these perks and make sure that Bronny gets some good rotation minutes, if you will, from Ohio State. But I don't know if he necessarily should go to both of those programs. Again, I know Ohio State more than likely would have been where LeBron James would have went if he went to college. But I still think that when I look at both of those options, I think maybe Michigan makes the most sense out of both of them. But because of the rivalry between those two programs, I don't know how maybe Bronny's maybe he likes to be the opposite of his dad. Maybe that might be a cool storyline to say. So I'm curious to see what's going to be going on with that situation when it comes to Michigan and Ohio State in terms of if Bronny James goes there. The other last option, of course, would be Oregon. So Oregon would be a big one just because LeBron James signed a lifetime contract with Nike. We know Phil Knight is a huge Oregon supporter. And so we know that he's going to dump a ton of money. And if you bring Bronny James there, you can imagine the types of uniforms, the type of shoes, all that stuff. There would be a lot of hype surrounding it. I mean, this article goes on to talk about it. It's become synonymous with the brand. Oregon is used to landing big time recruits, including freshman center Khalil Ware, getting a top 10 draft pipe, and we'll probably do a video on him. They have Kwame Evans, the number 2 overall prospect, committed for the following year. Duke has consistently made the NCAA tournament before last season, and would another place that possibly offer Bronny James a headline role as a freshman. And I think that's really what it is for me when it comes to a guy like Bronny James, is that I think what I want to see from him more going forward, and especially, going into college or going into the G League, whatever he decides to do as an athlete, I would love to see him in that role of being someone who excels at that position, right? Someone who is going to be a starter, someone that's going to take those minutes, because I think what makes that special for Bronny is to really figure out if he is NBA material. And I think he is NBA material. And again, there's a lot of tests and obstacles that go in the way, so you can see whether or not an athlete has that innate ability. And I think he does have that innate ability to maybe at the NBA level not be a high, all-star, superstar caliber type of player, but definitely someone that I could see being a great starting point guard for anybody. And so that's kind of where I'm looking forward to for when it comes to uh seeing Bronny James in high school, his final year, and also seeing him in the college ranks, because I think as we continue to get closer to it, you can clearly see that he's ranked 43 in the nation. Again, a lot of people would just say, "Oh, well, we can't deal with him. It's not something I really want." The 43rd point guard, like what is this? But you have to respect the grind that Bronny James has been on. Again, it's going to be a lot different than his dad, and I think that's where a lot of people get stuck in on when it comes to the sons of former NBA players, or maybe current NBA player, obviously LeBron James, but people that played in the league, and you have to let them be their own person. And I understand that he probably got the most pressure for being called LeBron James Jr., and that is going to lead to a lot of, can this guy live up to the name? And that's the thing that we have to remember, is that he is Bronny James. He is not LeBron James, you know, currently playing for the Los Angeles Lakers. This is a kid who's going to carve out his own legacy, his own path, and his own way of life. And I think that's something that we have to recognize. We can recognize the family name. When there's a family name in the high school setting where they have a ton of brothers that played for the team, or whether it is a dad played for the team, they are their own person. And the more that we treat them like their own person instead of, hey, you're LeBron James's kid, the better I think the athlete will become. And I think you could see Bronny James evolve and metamorphosize into a great starting point guard in any NBA caliber bench, or sorry, not bench, but starting unit. Maybe he starts off the bench at the beginning, but then comes off of it and becomes a starter. Is he the Mario Chalmers of a team? Is he the Mike Conley? Actually, Mike Conley was pretty good. But does he have that ability? That's the question mark that I want to figure out as we continue to move forward to seeing Bronny continue his success, continue his career, and I'm excited to continue to kind of watch the whole 2 games that I have of Bronny James fully on ESPN. So I'm excited to go back and rewatch those games. But anyway, guys, let me know in the comment section down below. What do you guys make of all this situation? Are you guys excited? Are you guys not excited for Bronny James and his potential high school career, going into college, and even NBA? I'd love to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. But anyway, guys, like I said, my name is Bernie. Thank you once again for joining us here on The Charge, getting the latest NBA news and rumors, and also basketball opinions. We'll catch everybody on the next video. Please remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe. Peace.